One guy right on under. Hello, hello. Let me turn that down real low. Hey everybody, hey Baron, how's it going? I took the day off to answer your question because I felt like it. I had a lot of time to burn, and I actually took the entire week off. Thought I would get like Thanksgiving to whatever day it was next week off. So it works out for me. I'm happy. Hopefully the stream's working. Hopefully chat's up. They're about to start in about 2 minutes. We'll do like a watch along. Hopefully I don't talk over. I have to move the camera around. All that fun stuff. Alert box is up. Hey, Barrett, make sure you do a like on this video. I would appreciate it. If you're not doing anything, you can hang out, watch along with me, chit chat. Otherwise, go to work, whatever. Yeah, I know you did. Fair enough on that one. Oh, I forgot to mention, I will be in town. I'll be in Lansing, Michigan, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for work. And I'm staying the night, obviously. Just letting you know, I might be carpooling with my coworker going there, but I'm not doing anything after work or after the training every day. So, just so you know. Alrighty, what are we doing? So the F what? They just add time onto their ticker? Damn it. Alright, we'll have dinner. I don't know where we're going to have dinner since everything's closed, so. But I'm open to whatever your ideas are. Actually, that's a good opportunity. While this is rolling. Go over to Facebook. Alright, we'll do. I don't know what time I'm going to get on Sunday, so probably not that day. But, yeah. I'm a chef. You're a pizza chef? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I love when my things work, right? Do. Mac and cheese? Damn right, mac and cheese. Oh, man. Pizza's hard? Well, yeah, I know. That's why I don't make it ever. Do. And for everybody out there watching, I have a giveaway going on. It's at my website. Hopefully it's somewhere on the page you're on. If you're on Twitch or YouTube, it should be down below. If you're on Facebook, it should be in the side somewhere. I don't know. But either ways, I've got a giveaway going on. It's at my website, squeetee.com, my user handle.com. And long story short, just, go check it out. It's simple. You subscribe to some stuff, and you get a $25 Amazon gift card. And that's about it. So by all means, try to go for it. You lost all sound. God, you have the worst issues, Baron. You really do. The news on Ashes. Nothing too much. I mean, I wish I could bring this up easier. Baron. Oh, well, I'll just leave you go then. When you get sound back, let me know. Hopefully it's not just too much, Okay, well, the stream's working. On YouTube, at least. Who knows about that pesky Facebook you're on? go. We'll update that. Boom. So Facebook is, but yeah, I closed it up and now it worked. Oh, okay. Well, to answer your question, what's new with Ashes? Basically, at the moment, the only thing going on... Oh, did we lose it again? Their stream keeps bugging out. Oh, it's come back. Anyways, nothing much new. Oh, there it died, of course. Maybe? Whatever. The only thing new with Ashes is that the Alpha 1, what is it, pre-test 1 starts December 18th for a weekend. But that's about it. That's the only thing. Alright, we're going to go full screen. Would they shove a commercial in as it died? Stream is currently refreshing. We'll be back in just a moment or two. Oh, they killed their stream. Alright, well, I guess we wait an extra minute or two. When do I get to play? What package do you have, Baron? That's what we need to know. Because I don't remember what you have off the top of your head. $80 the cheapo. Ah, damn it. You're never going to play. Man, I don't even know what you have. You've got like nothing. Let me go to the Kickstarter. And see what you got. So you got the Pioneer. So you're in closed beta phase 1. So who knows when you're going to be in. Let's be honest here. April 6th through May 6th is Alpha 1, the official Alpha 1 starting. So they have to go through an Alpha 2 and then they get to your Beta 1. So you got a while to go, man. Now, I will say this. If I have to look online, and I was seeing how money was leveling out for me, I was thinking of putting the... what the hell? I don't want to miss the stream if it starts up funny. About boosting up one of my expansion pack, or one of my other... I have 3 accounts for Ashes I bought. I'm going to upgrade the second account, I think, to an Alpha 1 access, which I think is only like $100. So I'll have 2 accounts. So if that works out, maybe, we can get you to log in. But besides that, that's all. So I think that's I'm going to get addicted to crack, then go to rehab before they're... Hey, you could, Ty. There's nothing stopping you. You can do anything you wanted to. Anything you wanted to. Man. Technical difficulties. This is what they get for not having it on a Thursday or whatever they usually do. I was trying to think. I don't blame you. Did you ever get on Discord and look at those pics? I mean, if you're doing nothing right now... Do. We need 20 people on Discord. What do you mean we need 20 people on Discord? Oh. Discord's pretty flat lately. I think you're our boys during game. Yeah, well, during gameplay, we got time to recruit. I'm going to be working hard in these alphas, but yeah, so do I. Miss the PvP, but we'll see. We'll see. Hit puny server. I don't want to hit refresh because then it's going to freak out my game or my browser. But I do want to. I want to watch something here. Let's get something, guys. Why is this so long? Try going live on Mixer. Some of these chats in Twitch are pretty good. We love you, stream. What? We don't care. We just want it. Come back to us. Let's watch cute cat videos from the internet. We could, Andrew. That's possible. But the internet's a scary place, and I'm always bound to hit something bad. I also don't want to miss it. Cat videos. There we go. Make sure I got the volume up enough so if it starts. I made sure she took them. Oh, there we go. Cats, go away. You know what I just realized? Which one am I watching? Oh, okay. I was making sure my stream was working. Alright. 4 minutes it says. I did like the dogs, but she was cranky and wanted them back, and honestly they weren't trained, so I wasn't gonna argue with it. She could take the messy dogs. Hey, Ofter, thanks for following. I wonder who you are. Who paid for them? Well, that's a good thing. So I paid for the first one, and it was a semi-gift to her, but she actually sold the dog. So I paid for it. She sold it at her job. And I'm pretty sure when she wrote down who was the owner was, she wrote herself. So really, I lost all ownership right then and there. And then the second dog was, when we bred them, it was a puppy. So the ownership was split between me and her, and that was the one that was the naughty one that has destroyed countless things in my home. I still have a windowsill that I need. It's a 10-foot long at least windowsill that I need to replace. It's all one board, and she chewed the hell out of it, the side that you can see easily. So either I chop it off and reshape it, but she chewed it so wide it would be like the funniest thing. I don't know. I'm debating. Click boom. I've thought about it. She actually, the ex came over last night because I found a huge tub of her Christmas crap, and I texted her, hey, I got it, it's on my porch, blah, 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 come pick it up. She showed up and was, thank God. She just picked it up. She didn't want to stay and chit-chat. Alright, guys, come on. I'm waiting long enough. Error claiming bonus. Introducing channel points. Have I never used channel points before? Oh, they were disable their rewards. What's the point in channel points then, guys? That's stupid. You can't tell how much of the screen is actually in. Oh, it's cutting off the very bottom. That's awkward. Wait, is it actually? Oh, it is. Oh, I don't know why I didn't notice this. Fit to screen. Transition. It looks a little better. I'm still having to deal with my ex, but she is being nice. Well, at least she's being nice. Nicer than your entire relationship? Because she was kind of cranky. That one time I met her. Alright, guys. 45 seconds left. Hopefully it works. We can get going. Get some good information. It's the last stream of the year. Hoping for some good stuff considering pre-test 1 starts in 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Oh, that's good, Baron. Well, I'm glad that's going positive for you. And before this starts, really quick, I have a giveaway going on my website, squeetee.com, so my username.com. There's probably a link somewhere, depending on where you're at. $25 Amazon gift card. Go to the webpage. My homepage has it. It's on the bottom a little bit. All the steps you gotta do. $25 Amazon gift card. Do it. It's easy stuff. Subscribe to YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. Stuff like that. I'm not asking for your next born kid for $25. So, and anyone can enter. I'm just gonna give you the code off the card. So this weekend you're going to be within 100 miles. Am I not going to be even... I should be closer than that. Alright. I'll probably have to move my camera around a couple times. Hopefully the volume is good. Guys, let me know if it is or not. There we go.
Welcome to our...
Oh, it's November development. I'm an idiot.
Development update. We hope that you all have...
I forgot what month I'm in.
Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, we hope that you had a great week and weekend. How are you guys doing? I see everyone's got the holiday spirit going. Steven's got creepy stuff.
Oh, I thought you were talking to the stream.
I thought so too. I was like, wait.
Yes, I know exactly what all of your houses look like right now. I'm creeping into them.
Yes, I'm doing much better. I've regained my power as my beard has come back in. I am no longer diminished, so I'm doing good.
Dude, that grew back fast.
Yeah,
that did.
Pretty quick. Yep, I see you have your tree up, and Margaret, I
do.
can't tell if that's a green screen or your actual home.
What do you think? It's green screen.
I need a green screen.
Green
screen.
Positioning, but no. People are asking, where's Thomas?
Oh yeah,
What do
where
you
is
mean?
Thomas?
Who's Thomas?
I don't know.
Oh, I see. Oh my God, I see him. He's creeping. He's creeping in the bottom right. I
don't know if you can see him. Oh, they kind of can a little bit. Not too much.
Weird.
All right. Well, we're having a
Let's
little
go.
bit of fun. First and foremost, I'm Margaret Crone. I am your community marketing lead, and with me today is Stephen Sharif, our creative director, as well as Jeffrey Bard, who is our lead game designer. We hope that
Hi,
you
everybody.
all are ready for a lot of action. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. So just to go over all of the things that we will be doing today, we have our quick updates, our studio update from Stephen, our design update, and our environment update, as well as character art. And then we have a little Q&A, which our lovely community manager, Lieutenant Toast, has put together. So thank you all so much for submitting your questions. If your question doesn't get answered, Toast does do a grand job of trying her best to answer as many of them as possible. And I think, Stephen, I'm still coming through your microphone.
Uh-oh, are you? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
A little bit, a smidgen.
It's low for me.
And with that, I'm
No,
gonna
she's
move
not. She's married with cats.
real quick. So I'm gonna switch over to.
You
the
wish,
video.
Baron, you wish.
We have our November dev discussion coming up, our November dev discussion just happened, which was about overgearing and aka twinking, and our new one is going to be on boss difficulty. So stay tuned for that.
Make it hard.
Jeff and his
That's
team
all I
are going
want.
to be really curious to see what y'all have to say about that topic. We've had some interesting discussions about.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, now I'm like, is mine muted?
No, I don't know. Hold on, I can put it back. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
And of course, we do have a lot of internal discussions. So we've kind of talked a little bit about the overgearing and seeing all the feedback that you guys had provided to us. And it was interesting to hear what people internally had to say about that as
Slow
well.
part of the
So
stream.
it definitely gets some heated discussions going on even within our studio. Beyond that, we of course have our
These I like.
Harvest
I really like
Dawn
these.
cosmetic swap over that will be happening on December 2nd, 2020 at 11 a.m. Pacific. And we might have a little teaser today later in the stream about what's going to be in the next set. Because
I'm not going to comment on that, Baron.
what's the process? How does this help?
But anyways, I want to get that dragon mount at the top.
Margaret, I just sent you a
Okay.
link.
We'll grab that. And of course, we wanted to extend.
Oh, they were going quick. Anyways, I want that dragon mount. It
during
looks
our
cool.
Extra Life 2020 charity live stream. We know it's been a difficult year for many folks, and everyone who was able to tune in, and those of you who were generous and donated, have helped a lot of children. We were able
made
to
a
raise
ton of money.
over $88,000.
$88,000.
Stephen shaved his beard. We had a dinosaur
That's crazy.
battle again. We got to pie Stephen in the face, and of course we have a lovely recap of that, about like 30 minutes of it, because we didn't want to upload the whole thing, but you can watch the whole thing over.
Well, they're not going to upload 24-hour
If
video.
you would like to, or you can watch like the fun recap. Also, Stephen is a singer. Jeffrey Bard.
Margaret is a singer.
No. Jeffrey Bard, you have some contestant here. Like, Stephen can definitely sing. We're like, what?
No, Margaret blew it away for sure.
No, it was bad.
Amazing.
No. Yeah, but definitely go check out that stuff. It was a lot of fun for us, and of course, we raised a lot of money. I didn't sleep. It was grand. It was grand.
It was grand.
And then, of course, beyond that, we do have our Alpha 1 preview of the Cleric Archetype, which has an article that went live.
That was pretty
on
good.
our news channel.
Sure, read that if you can.
Post our articles over there, so definitely check that out. And it also covers there's also a video that covers the class as well. So definitely watch that. We know there's a lot of feedback that has been provided to us. There's a lot of feedback that has been provided in the thread, and we're definitely taking all of those things into consideration. We kind of talked about it previously too. There was a lot of discussion in regards to how bright the particle effects were and stuff like that. We wanted to know that, obviously we're in alpha, things will change, as well as animations and things of that sort. So yeah. And then last but not least, we do have our journey to Alpha 1. We've been doing a fun social media thing. If you haven't been part of it, definitely go check it out. We've been taking a little bit of a journey, and you all have kind of shared with us what you would like to do, and it's been really, really exciting.
I'd like to defeat a dragon.
Chapter 4, which is a little bit of a battle. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see who you think should go first, our cleric, our mage, or our tank. I personally think our tank, because the first person you want to battle is probably your tank.
Hey, I'm in the
We'll see what
stream.
people say. And we'll get to see where our journey goes, as well as, of course, our top Alpha 1
It's
playtest
some alpha
dates.
stuff they're talking about.
We have.
So here's the alpha dates, guys.
This was posted in our creative director's
December 18th, December 21st. It's coming up for a lot of us.
So,
Alpha 1 is the big one. We can stream that starting April 6th, so
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
Coming up here.
Get a lot of
through
views.
December 21st.
Yeah.
Great time for the holiday season.
Are you all
You'll
done with your
join
stuff?
us, those who are able to, which is all of our Bravers and Intrepid pack holders. So Braver Worlds and above, and
Close the door.
Intrepid pack holders. And you'll be getting an
Thanks, bud.
email from us regarding that, all the information. So stay tuned.
I can't wait for these. I can't wait.
3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not a long ways from now, that's for sure.
It's coming up.
Yeah, sorry we had so many quick updates.
I'll
We
tell
had
them
lots
to
going
send
on
hi.
this month, and of course December's not even. It's gonna be here soon. So I'm gonna toss it over to Stephen to talk a little bit about the studio.
Oh, Kenny said I'll let him know. Is he going to play tonight?
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, I noticed a question in chat by Galen says, why doesn't the long Alpha 1 test say full wipe? The reason for that is essentially
That's a good
as
question.
we continue moving forward past those dates, there might be spot testing that will open up, and we may want to have on that particular Alpha server people at the progression points that they were at in order to test certain things. So we're not definitively saying those will be a full wipe on those Alpha servers. That doesn't mean that it's going to progress into the betas. The betas will for sure have a wipe from alpha. So just to answer that. Yeah, studio update. We are continuing.
That's very interesting. I can't wait for that.
We have updated kind of our time frame when we expect to be back in the studio.
They're probably around like 6 your time.
Around, I would say, February of next year. Obviously we're watching the updates with COVID. If you're not in the United States, you'll know that there's, things going on here, and we're trying to get this thing under control, and it is not progressing in the direction that we want it to progress. So with that being
Does she
said,
have cat eyes on?
staying,
Anybody?
And do I have music?
Oh, she muted herself. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make sure the little guy's on.
On the hiring front, we've had a tremendous hiring round that started in the middle of July of this year, and we just kind of finished it. We brought on board, I believe, 23 people in that period of time, which is very good. Our next hiring round, which you guys will be getting messaging about, will be in the middle of probably January. We're probably going to be targeting around 30 new positions at the studio to bring on board during that hiring round. And things are progressing. Right now, the team just has their heads down. We're focusing on the alpha test that's coming up December 18th. There's a lot of excuse me. There's a lot of work to be had still. So we are.
There's gonna be a lot of people in that test.
But otherwise, there's not.
Baron, I'll catch you later, man.
Studio update front.
Good luck at work.
I guess with that, we will move on.
Thanks for stopping by.
Our design stuff.
Oh, new design stuff.
Yeah, so like Steven said, we're very hard at work right now trying to get everything buttoned up and ready to go. Obviously, we have a whole new zone, so that's required a lot of population, a lot of new quests, a lot of new creatures, which is pretty neat. You guys will be seeing a lot more variance in sort of the population of our creatures in the world, and some of the stories that are going to be told there. So that's really exciting. We are hard at work doing a big stats revamp, which you won't see in this December test, but hopefully the February one, and for sure the March one.
Kind of sucks they're skipping January.
So a big rejiggering of all of our stats and how they work and how they relate to each other. Something that will be a lot closer to what our final form of stats will be. So we're trying to button up the last few things on that, and then it'll be implementation time.
Thanks, Barry.
We're also, I have a small team split out doing some combat prototypes. So they're going to be creating, I feel like we've got a pretty good foundation for our combat, but in terms of like really making it sing and really making it feel like, the core experience that we want from the game, it's not there yet. So this team is there kind of trying to find the final answers there to really bring combat up to sort of the AAA experience that we expect from the game. So they're working on that. You probably won't see too much work from them in the December thing. But you definitely will.
Thanks for life, Baron. I appreciate it.
So yeah, it's design has been a lot of fun. We've got.
I wonder what tweaks they're doing with the stats.
Right now, so it's nice being able to have different subgroups work on these different systems, and as we get bigger, we'll continue to do that. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely a bit stressful.
I hope they don't go the route of just like one stat.
But
does works for everything. Like I think Swotar was doing something similar.
Think about it.
Which kind of that.
Yeah.
And I think we might have some footage we can play in the background, maybe.
I'm getting that set up right now. Transition.
Margaret seems
all right.
panicky.
That's why there was music
We're
playing.
doing it live.
So.
Do I want to move my camera or just block? Oh, we'll just block Margaret.
Do it while.
All right, what do we got?
But I think.
Oh, we can still speak about it, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the biome that we're working with right now is very tropical, jungly. So you'll see
Okay.
that kind of reflected in the foliage and some of the creatures that you'll be seeing.
Not decent armor.
Here we've got a big war beast.
That is a big
hanging
war
in the
beast.
distance.
You should be able to
a
hear
big-
us. People are saying there's no sound. You should be able to hear us.
Oh, can you hear us talking?
Yeah, there's not supposed to be music.
Testing. One.
But you
Oh,
should be
yeah,
able to
okay.
hear us.
As long as they can hear us talk.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
There's
they
no
can't hear
there's
the
not supposed to be sound on
videos.
the video. Sorry guys. There was just music in the video. It's-
Confusion.
Yeah, and just to give you guys an idea, what you're seeing here, as Jeff was saying, is one of the new biomes. This is kind of a
Alright,
more
let's fight.
tropical-oriented area, but you're also seeing some of the lighting
Oh,
changes.
cut away.
This is all obviously in game, so you're seeing a cinematic, camera on these particular shots. But you're getting
What
to
the
see
hell
some
is
of the
that?
foliage changes. You're seeing some of the lighting differences. Here you can see some little pygmy goblins.
Yeah.
And
Pygmy
their
goblins?
little
Okay.
tribe and shaman that's kind of there, waiting to
They've got a lot of character in
come
these.
across any
characters they
wayward
make.
adventures in their
They really
lives.
do.
I love his mask.
It's so cute. It's so good.
Yeah. But
There-
Yeah, our animation team does such a good job giving our creatures.
I hope that's not all the
character.
design update,
They
because that
really
was
kind of
pretty
stand on their own and tell their own story just by looking
flat.
Yeah, it's really,
Yeah.
really good stuff. And you might have seen a sneak peek of that video when we tweeted some stuff out and put some Facebook things out. So if you're following us on social, you might have seen some screenshots from that, or a screenshot of that, or from it, which was pretty amazing. So
If you say so.
Tristan putting that lovely video together.
yes.
It's good stuff. All right.
Now
Well,
what?
we are excited for Alpha 1. We've got a lot of things going on with that. And one of the other things that people have asked a lot about are like the design process for like the cosmetics and how they interact with the world. And we do have some other questions that are in our Q&A as well. So I'm just going to kind of go over like the process of creating the cosmetics and also answer some frequently asked questions. Like one of the questions that we get a lot is, how does this help the world that we're creating here? And I think
called
one of
money.
the things that we constantly tell people is that what
called a
these
cat
do is
shop.
these help us create the creatures in the world. They help us create the NPC garb that you're going to see and things like that. You're not going to see the exact ones that we're doing for the cosmetics because those are exclusive to those who help us. But you will see variants of those in the world. Now, those variants are for NPCs. Those variants are for creatures in the world. Those variants will not be attainable by other players. Just to make that very clear, they are exclusive to you. But the variants of them will be in the world. Not
Okay.
attainable. But that's not to say that we won't have things that are similar that you can get of the same like style necessarily.
As long as I can have my unique cosmetics, that's all I want.
But yeah, so
want
Jeff
my
sometimes will be
leaf
like, hey,
dragon.
I'm designing something for a jungle. Maggie, make me some jungle stuff. And I'll be like, okay, cool. But we'll make a different variant of it for the cosmetics, for the monthly cosmetics. So I'm just going to go over kind of the process, and I'm going to use one of the items from the next set, which is December, so you get a teaser
Ooh.
of what the next set is, and also we'll just
Gonna
show
be
you
something
all of them
icy.
as well, since we're very close. They'll be launching on December 2nd, but
Okay.
hopefully this answers your questions, and if you have more in chat, please.
Got a
just
couple
let me know.
days to buy
So what
my,
I normally do is I send over a presentation
November up
to
cosmetics.
Jeff that is, I'm not going to show you the entire presentation. I'm going to show you like one item example, but I'll send him like my December cosmetic request, and I usually do this like months in advance. We have a tone that we're going for, so for this December's
cold.
tone,
Well, obviously,
tone
that's
we're
a
going
given.
Pretty cold and icy, so that was kind of really the tone. And what I like to drive home is with Ryan Richmond, who is our kind of like lead character artist. I always tell him like, go back to that.
Lead concept.
Lead concept. Yeah, concept. Sorry. For instance, like when we had the previous set for November, I was like, this needs to be more jovial because it started looking really dark and kind of creepy, like the house and stuff. And I was like, no, this is supposed to be like happy and festive. And so like they kind of brought up the tone.
What do they
and
make
brightness
out?
on the colors.
2 Halloween twice in a row?
So for the first one, I'm going to kind of show you. Ooh, it's a little sneak peek. That's not what I meant to do.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So,
Okay.
I usually send over one of these things, and basically this tells you what it's for. It's like an accessory. I know I leaked. It's a frozen gauntlet, and what I like to do is provide what armor slot it's going to be in. So this will be in your hand slot. What armor type it's going to be. So this will plate. what race influence it is, and this is Renkai. What
Okay.
materials are going to be available? So copper, plate, ice. That's really what we're going for. And on the right hand side, you can kind of see the color palette that I'm going for all of the cosmetics. You can also see the textures and materials, and I try to provide.
So is she designing all the cosmetics?
And then I kind of
Like,
give
did
them
I
a
miss
little bit
this?
of details of what I'm thinking. So for instance, I was like copper colored plate with armored gloves. Plate has intricate designs on it that are engraved in it, encased in like a light blue ice. This ice should be part of the armor, almost like an enchantment. And then the fingernails, area of the gloves should look like a creature of sorts. And kind of I gave you some examples of these as well for them to be able to see.
Okay.
Now I'm going to show you the process of this, basically all the different stages that this goes through. So the first stage that I got was the left one. It was really very intricate, and I did kind of like it, but I was like,
No.
it needs more ice.
It does, you're right.
To kind of differentiate it from what the other one was. So they added more ice, and then we're like, I don't know if
need
that's
more
really
ice.
going to work for us because it looks too much like the costume, which is not showing up right now. So, please moment. Figure out why it's not showing up. Oh man, come on. I tested this before, I promise.
She says that. This whole stream fell apart for a minute. Holding in suspense here, guys. Stream's kind of slow this month.
Oh, they're like, not here.
I like the one with the big ice coming out, like it almost had extra
Yes,
claws.
bugs today.
It would be good if it had like extra damage too, because of the ice on it. Like if you punch like a melee attack, you got extra
It just kind of like
something.
out on me. Alright, well, maybe I can get Mike to send those over. Yeah, because none of them are showing up here for me.
Weird.
Yay! So, yeah. Stephen, why don't we have you talk a little bit about
Yes.
the other part of it, which is the other part of it was we're going to talk a little bit about the diversity
Hello.
in visuals of these,
Absolutely.
choices, and then I will grab those other things and I'll kind of explain more of the process. Sorry that this
That's okay. Yeah, not a problem. So,
Yeah.
basically, through this process, one of the most important things, obviously, is going to be, we have a lot of visual diversity across the cosmetics, across the biomes in the world. All of these things. Really, there's a large portion of diverse elements, and part of the artist's job is to kind of make sure that they're all congruent, that they all look like they fit together in this world. And that's a really delicate process. It starts really at the conceptual phase, and as it moves into the environment artists or the character artists, they're taking into account the types of materials and textures that need to be used and have to be kind of co-located to a certain region so that they make sense. Another thing that people brought up in the past is like, hey, there's a lot of different building skins that could potentially be on freeholds, and all of that is taken into account. So I think what you're going to start seeing as we move into the alphas and betas, and these types of different assets come online in these different phases, is you may initially see some some contending looks, but over time that's going to be fleshed out. It's going to be blended better together, and it's going to create not just a rich and diverse universe of possible assets that players can attain, but also that fit together within this world. Now, the objective, obviously, starting at the concept stage and moving forward, is for us to keep the world immersive. So you're not going to see like people wearing jeans and t-shirts and kind of
Okay, my cut-up jeans.
assets
Like a
through
tough guy.
exactly clubwear in the game, as we may have
Club.
experienced in other MMORPGs. Because while we want to have fun, we also want to make sure that the immersive nature of this world, which is very visually aesthetic, beautiful world, is maintained. And that's kind of the target objective, obviously. So and as Margaret really kind of goes through with Jeff and comes up with these different thematic sets throughout the months, the artists
Margaret does
take
a lot
those sets which are constructed, and
for
as
this.
Mark was saying, they will create
Company or whatever.
alternatives that get introduced through NPCs, that get introduced through enemies you may face. And in addition, there's going to be alternatives that can be achieved in game. You know, these aren't cosmetics that are purchased necessarily, but they can also be achieved in game through kind of rewards and achievements and stuff. And that creates a large, diverse, capable, essentially structure for the world that the artists have access to as they're creating, you know, new assets moving forward in the development of the game. Sorry, was that? Do you want me to keep
You're good.
I think we have to keep going.
on? Okay, got it. I will keep going. Jeff,
I've got it almost set up here, and then I can
why don't you talk about as design has been essentially populating these 12 different zones that are in the Alpha 1 location.
12 zones,
how
okay.
fun it's been to work with a more diverse set of creatures that you've been throwing in there.
It's real nice. Like it's kind of hard to tell a story sometimes when you've got like 6 different variants of creatures that you've got. We've got a ton now.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Got a blue orc,
amps up
green
the
orc.
story. We can set up zones to have, you know, a particular population and relationships between the populations that are there that we couldn't really do before. It helps us to kind of establish an identity. You know, this is a rather large tropical area. And what we use some of the creatures for is kind of like establishing character for different parts of this tropical place. So that even
Well, you
though
should.
it's all the same biome, it feels different when you're going from place to place based on what's there. And sort of like
Fair,
how these
I
things
mean-
are interacting with the environment.
Right.
So
And
One
to
side of the
expand on
island
that
has
just a little
orcs,
bit,
other has
by the way, guys,
elves.
From an expectation standpoint,
Theory.
we're going to start seeing stuff out of Alpha 1. We actually just recently, I think as of like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, switched off of the Alpha 0 island build from the map perspective and have started actually now in the testing that we're doing internally, moved over to the full Alpha 1 map, which is about, I think if you include the exterior areas, it's almost 100 square kilometers of
it's
That's a
really
lot.
it's pretty big. So it's intended to be between 1/5 and 1/4 the size of the map, but it's very large. Now, the location we chose for Alpha 1 on the main map is more of an island tropical area.
Quickly, to the
I don't know
maps.
if we've actually revealed where it is on the main map.
I don't think we have actually.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a hint.
Ashes of Creation
Top
world map.
left-hand corner area
All of them are
on
gonna be
the
looking.
world map. I know.
I'm looking right now.
In the world map. And we don't actually have. We were hoping to have ships online by December. We will have some
Ships?
usage available
say?
in the later tests, like February and or March for sure. But in December, we're going to be. Testers will notice that there's going to be some teleport NPCs that are going to be present because there's intended to be a lot of island hopping, and there's not a vehicle to hop with at the moment yet.
Oh,
so at least
that's
that's
funny.
not working reliably. So in December, you're going to see some teleport usage between the different islands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
try not to get
yeah.
used to it because it's a temporary fix for the water problem.
I don't know what he's talking about, upper left.
The teleporters will be
No,
pulled
we're
out.
teleporting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we just want to be able for you to be able to test things quickly.
I'm looking at
There'll
the
be
world
some
map
swing
and I don't
lanes.
see
You could
tropical on the
technically
upper
swim.
left.
That
I
would be
mean,
quite a trek on a mountain.
I guess there's a tropical island to
Yeah,
the
the
far
distances are pretty great.
west.
At some point.
How far from one end to the other would it be, you think?
You mean
Of this current map that they're going to be able to test on.
in kilometers or in time travel?
Both? Why not
Oh,
both?
I think it's
Both?
probably. I think it is 10 kilometers. It's 10-kilometer trek across, right? If you're not going diagonally, and then it's that would probably take about. I don't know if you're moving at a
You're
distance
probably
speed
at
of
30
7.
minutes.
Yeah, I'd say at least 30 on the mount.
30 minutes. Holy crap.
All right, I can show the thing now. I got it all set up. Sorry about that.
That's a long haul.
Okay, cool.
if you guys are good.
I don't. This
Yeah.
is going to be a great game with how big it is.
To where I was. Sorry about that. Obviously, these are the two phases.
I'm excited. I just got
this
so
is
much
kind
more
of what I
excited
had
for this
asked
game.
for, but I think
And this stream.
as we were looking at it, I ended up thinking that maybe we wanted to. It was too close to what our set looks like. So this is the costume set for this month, and
That's
that
cool.
accessory looked a little bit too much like it. And so I actually was talking with Ryan Richmond, and I was like, I think that maybe this is kind of the direction I'd like to go, is making it more like the creature for the set, which is the pet. And
What's the
I'm
pet?
using So this is
Well,
the pet.
hello, Ice
Like
Demon.
you took the pet's like art. Like,
What was the
their
size
arms and
referring
made
to?
it
The
like
space available?
like armor.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Mr.
And
Chet.
so we went with that,
The space they were
and
talking about was
who's
the left to right, east to
so
west
I'll go over to
dimensions of the
that.
map. So it was 10 kilometers
So that's kind
from
of
one
like the
corner to
process.
the other,
It's a little
going
bit back
straight
and forth.
across.
Sometimes there's a lot more.
And it's like a
back and forth.
30-minute run, Steven said.
There will be like 2 or 3 different phases of what an item looks like. For instance, I know you guys love the snores, like AKA. Our
That's nice. I like that.
Snail, horse-looking thing. And that went through a couple different phases. And actually, I had it more of like a translucent pearlescence kind of color. And Steven popped in and was like, "Oh, I think it should be like more colorful than."
So basically, the Alpha 1 map
color on it. So sometimes it's just a color
is going to
change, sometimes
be
it's like
100
completely
square
different item. This
kilometers.
looks completely
So
different
10,
than
10,
the
10,
original.
10.
Not to say that we wouldn't make one that's like the original, but the original to me looked too much like the costume set. And I wanted to kind of give it its own look. And of course, we're just going to show you the other ones just because, you know. So the
Okay, I like that.
building that we're going to have is this really icy, cold.
Is it a temple? Like, what's the point?
If we got some Renkai out there, or aspiring Renkai orcs.
I wish they would tell us how, like, these skins. Like, can I put this skin on a...
Beck then Renkai?
I assume it's just a house I can
this
put
is
it on.
Beck.
Yeah.
Can't be anything else.
Beck folks out there. I was like, actually, this is a Beck. And this is the mount.
Well, that's cool.
Continuing that icy theme.
That's nice.
And one of the other things is that we also have some body types and rigs that I'm working with too. So Chris,
I kind of want to make each one of my accounts a theme.
Kind of give
Like,
me all the options I have.
fire for one account, ice for another, and
so I try not to
whatever for something else. I don't
differentiate
know.
too far from those things, so that.
But I do like being
you know,
kind of
I
weird
work
and
on them to create new models.
dressing up odd. I don't even remember what all my,
Down with it. For instance, like
whatchamacallit are, all my
I
things
had-
I've purchased.
The fox one, I had to be like, 2 tails, is that okay? Because technically we don't have a rig for 2 tails, but they were down with it because they were both like, it's too cool, we need it. And of course the caravan pulled by
Okay.
Lovely.
That looks nice. I like these sets.
Oh my god, it's a lot of lumber.
Yeah, a lot of lumber. So if you're thinking about being a lumberjack or something of that sort, this is probably a cool skin for you to have on.
That's
your
not bad.
caravan, for sure.
I like it.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the design process. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jeff, because really, me and you go back and
I
forth.
mean, I think you
Not
covered
too
it pretty
much.
well, right? Like it's mainly about establishing theme and making sure that we haven't repeated ourselves, and that we're always kind of pushing the story forward too.
Yeah.
We sometimes find out some neat things about the story as we're creating these items.
Oh yeah, there's
And we
lore.
can, so there's always a lot of lore that we go back and forth on, and making sure that we're staying within established canon, and we're not pushing it out too far. But it's really a lot of fun. You find out a lot about the story through these items, especially with where we're at in the process. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like I go, hey, I really want to make like a witch or something like that, and then Jeff will go, hey, but this doesn't. Maybe this is kind of what witches are like in our world, and so like I have to kind of create something and design something that's going to fit well with what
Do they
the
exist?
vision is as well, as far as like the lore goes as well. So it's like a lot of back and forth, and sometimes, like Jeff was saying, the lore gets created through these things too. So it's a lot of fun going back and forth between those.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about like holidays and stuff.
That's
And it's
not
like,
bad.
okay, what do the people on Vera like? What do they think about this time of year, right? How do they approach it? How do they think about it? So
And they have to have like
a
Christmas. I mean, that's like a great holiday for
of what
MMOs.
we're building.
Christmas,
sort of, I don't know, more.
Halloween's always super fun.
Nice.
Yeah, like the Verdant Keeper kind of was created.
What else is a good
A
one?
year ago, or I think it's a year ago, when we were
Actually, Valentine's Day in some games is pretty fun. I remember Star Wars Galaxies with
came up with all these little tiny
like
things that
a bunch of little Ewoks with little hearts running around.
That fall season.
That was fun.
And coming into
Silly, but fun.
stuff like that. So it definitely kind of fleshes out other things too. So it's yes, you're helping support the game in a plethora of ways, through lore, through creating the world itself, through these items and these creatures. So it's not going to waste, because a lot of people are like, why are they spending time doing this? It's like, well, it's not really wasting time. It's all stuff we're going to do anyway.
This is how you build the world,
Yeah.
and this is how people get to be a part of that
Fair.
process. So it goes hand in hand with the transparent development process. You guys getting a look inside the creation of an MMORPG, and you get to see every step of the way.
And of course, if people have questions, they can let us know. Will you be able to easily dye your armor or other colors? And I think we've talked about that before. Some pieces will be dyeable in certain parts. So yeah, we'll have dyeing on certain armor.
Okay.
Some will. You'll have
Yeah. By the way, I noticed everybody saying my lighting looks. I apologize, but for some reason in the December and January time frame of the year, like the sun just hits the perfect spot in the window that can't like be obstructed, and it burns me. Like I'm like a vampire normally, but this just burns me. So
I was gonna say your lighting's always messed up unless it's nighttime.
I know.
You need to stream during the nighttime. That's like the best
Yeah.
time for Steven. Okay, all right. Anything else that you want to add on the design side? We talked a bit about the journey to Alpha 1, things that are going on the design side. We showed off like a cool video of in-game, some footage of that, as well as
It's a long design
the
topic.
process of creating cosmetics, because people have been asking about those. Or not even cosmetics, just items in general.
I'm looking through my inventory of what items I've purchased for Ashes on my main account, because I forgot.
Cool. All right, we've got a lot of stuff for environment, so I'm going to move on over to that. So first and
Ooh,
foremost,
is that a
remember
boat?
that big rock that was in our previous one? Well, now it's in game, and also in the far right, you can see a little tiny gray box ship, and that is the size of your ship. So this kind of gives you the scale of how massive this thing is.
I hope I can get bigger ships.
So yeah, I think I have a couple.
Or these rocks are just silly sized.
And this is kind of like
And
another.
this is just an example of how strategically environments are created, right? These level designs, so to speak, to incorporate what we anticipate players are going to encounter, right, as they're here in these areas. So it's likely
What,
that,
hide our ship there and then
based on
get
the
someone with a mount
placement
jumping
around
on us?
this particular structure,
Not hiding
that
it.
some type of harbor will be forming if players manage to develop nodes in this area. And
Okay, makes
those
sense.
harbor locations will be strategically placed in order to utilize these types of structures. Should there be shipping raids on trade ships? Should there be conflicts? Should there be node sieges? There's now going to be an interesting element of essentially these structures that can inhibit ship movement, that can provide cover, that can do a lot of fun things for the players to kind of take advantage of or utilize. So you're
Okay.
going to see this prevalent across the world, really. But here's one of the examples in this particular alpha area that is gonna
I'm
be
fine
a lot
with
of fun.
everybody having a ship like that, a smaller one, as long as you can get a big one with like,
I'm excited.
I don't know, a bunch of people can get onto
everybody
it.
to experience these things in
That's all I want.
walking around in the world.
Not to mention the gliding opportunities here. If you have gliding mounts, right? Some mounts can glide, and you
Just
jump off
thinking
of
that.
that thing with your gliding mount. I think that'll be
Climb up there and
Jump
then
off of
suicide jump
You
in.
might die.
Imagine if you're a tank and you glide into a boat and you just stand there and just start beating them up as the rest of your team jumps in.
Moving on from there, we have some really cool kind of like jungle plants and things of that sort.
Is it growing off the rock?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it always
and-
knocks it out of the park.
And like some of these are like
Yeah.
growing on rocks and stuff. It's so sick.
That's
and I
pretty
should
cool.
have one in here
As
for-
long as you
I
don't
can't
see
go
that same
picture
tree with a rock 500 times. Oh,
It's definitely the game, but you can see the little guy.
wow. That's a huge
The scale.
huge
of
rock.
Some of these are. So yes.
slash
Very
tree.
lovely
Wow.
stuff coming from the wonderful Luna. And of course, we have some Kalar tents. So we have some Kalar things being built. You've probably been seeing a lot
It's a
of
slower
Kalar
stream
armor and
today.
things like that too. So slowly venturing out. You've been seeing a lot of dwarf stuff lately, but now we're moving on to Kalar and Empyrean things as well. So here are some tents that are being created.
Yeah, and as you're kind of looking at these particular assets, you can go back, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and take camp assets that we used to use for Kalar and kind of see how the art and assets progress further, right? Like these are much more detailed.
These are not bad. I like them.
They moved forward with the project, right? And
As
it's
long as I
pretty, I
can
think,
break them, I'll be
interesting
happy.
idea to kind of see progression of the world and how these cultures are continuing.
Work that's going in. Actually, I don't know if you guys have talked about how many nodes people are going to experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about that for the alpha?
In this alpha, I think we talked. Didn't we talk about?
Gonna
Or was that the
be nine.
I
PI
think it's
chat?
PI chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to be nine nodes throughout this area of space that players will be able to interface with. Now, it is important to note that these node locations will change after Alpha 1. You're really not going to see the definitive node placements until probably the first beta, I would say.
That sounds fair. I mean, you don't want to give it away early.
We're okay with that because, while it's beneficial for us to test, at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not really kind of revealing so much to the player base prior to the game launch, then we have to, so to speak. And in beta, obviously, we have to.
And that's 9 for the Alpha 1 test.
That's 9 for
April.
Alpha 1.
April.
That's correct.
April.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
being clear, not in the December test.
Well, I
in
believe
April.
in
December
December
should
there's
have
9
nine.
as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
Perfect. Just wanted to
Yes.
make sure. Right, moving on from there, we also
Can't wait.
have miscellaneous items. So this one is a kind of little fireplace.
Dwarf
Obviously,
fireplace?
Your brethren have created
Personally, I
this
don't
wonderful
care.
piece. And then got another one, little cooking place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all these little.
These are examples of in-housing furniture craftables. Some of these that players are capable of
Looks alright.
adding to their home,
Oh,
and
wow.
each of them will have their own, specific benefit that aids in either profession work or just daily adventuring. That as you
I'm not a
build
fan
up
that
your
every item in a
infrastructure,
house
that
has to have a
matters to as
buff.
player.
I just want to make stupid decorations, like in Galaxies.
And a bathtub.
I want to have a little ritual area with an Ewok in the middle where I'm sacrificing it. That's all I want.
Heck yeah, the
It's so
bathtub's
cool.
great.
I know. I want this bathtub, like IRL.
Like one of the great things that I have would love to see in a game, and it's really more RPG oriented than so much MMOs we've experienced, but like let's say you do craft this particular bath, and perhaps as your alchemist profession you've concocted some special type of soap, right? If you use those two things in conjunction, maybe
Okay.
you get a buff as a player for a period of time after
A
the
good
bath.
smelling
A
buff.
good smelling buff
Right,
for your
and it
talking.
unlocks unique shop items with NPCs that you interact with, or gives you different quest opportunities within your organizations and societies. Like these are the things that
Yeah.
I think add a flair to the RPG element, the kind of immersive role-playing side of things.
Whatever
that
you
are
say,
really
man.
Fun to experiment with.
Everybody's
So-
going to be bathing themselves in fountains and stuff like that now. Like maybe I might get a buff if I just go into this fountain. I will warn you, don't go in the water that looks like green and foggy, though. You will
Yeah,
die.
we've learned that
It's true.
acid
The
pool.
charisma modifier. I'm just saying.
You will die. And then, of course, we have some more chests and stuff like that. You've seen quite a few of these. Obviously,
I assume
you're gonna
that
be
like the
making a lot of
benefit
money
is going to be
because
storage
you don't wanna
increase
put
in
lots of
your
chests in house
stronghold.
and, keep all your fat loot.
Freehold, excuse me.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
these,
Take
are,
it
yeah,
slow
these are just
tour.
examples of the different ornate types of chests that players will be able to both craft through their furniture side of things and or purchase along with their home, and obviously the different capacity and ornate setting, the ornate nature of the chest will determine its capacity and
or
value.
maybe it's a mimic and then it jumps out and eats you.
Oh my gosh, that's ruthless.
And we have one more thing, which is going to be a video. So I'm going to play all this video, and I actually would love for you guys to kind of like talk a little bit about this. Obviously, I know this is more the environment folks, but this video, to pre-emphasize, it is more of like how the lighting process works and things like that. So
What over lighting? I'm not a fan of that.
So you'll see in a moment
Just
placement of
give me
like
some
where the
facts.
sun is and things of that sort, and like where horizon.
Well, that's
so you
cool.
can kind of see how it affects
Now
the
this,
world and the shadows.
just to put in context, this is not a cinematic camera that you're seeing right now. This is actually footage in editor. So I think this is Devin, who is going through and showing the dynamic lighting settings of the world, right? So
Okay.
essentially, in previous testing, we've kind of kept that lighting, that time of day static, because, you know, for those of you who don't know, lighting is a very, very important element of really how textures and materials look in an environment. And sometimes when you're still kind of nailing down how that lighting is going to work, it can affect the process of your production artists,
Right.
your character artists and your environment artists who are creating props for the world, who are creating foliage and trees and, you know, armor sets and skin tones, hair, you know, lighting really touches all of that. So we kind of
That's
kept it
really
static
nice.
in the past because we weren't yet nailed down. You know, we didn't have it as much of a priority to touch the lighting early on, and this has been some
That
of
was
the
really
work done on
nice.
the dynamic aspect of not just the clouds and the skyline, but also, you know, the different times of days that are going to be experienced through the world essentially. And, you know, we're not going with a baked lighting aspect, we're going with a dynamic lighting aspect. So, you know, it can be a little bit costlier, but at the same time, it really adds a type of mood that you would come to expect with the aesthetic that you're seeing here in a game like Ashes of Creation. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought this would be kind of a cool thing. Obviously, I'm trying to continually
Hello.
take you guys behind the scenes, but at the same time, it has to be something that
Showing off
Steven
the light now.
approves and that the team is happy
Of
with.
the
and
sun and
to
everything,
share.
how they're gonna have day and night
This is
cycles.
Kind of a cool.
So they're showing how like the sun at night and then how it rises and
for
stuff.
The development side of things. Jeff,
Yeah.
did you want to say something?
So I was just gonna say the way that it lights up
Finished
the
my
clouds
school.
is just phenomenal.
You're all done for the day?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Do you have
Especially
a
the
extra?
sunset time. Like,
No, that's only for
Yeah, who did
that's
the
for
work on the
tomorrow.
clouds? I think that was Brian.
Oh, they're not doing it today.
Yeah, they only want like a day for today.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
him,
days
him and
tomorrow.
Jim are working together on that.
Yeah,
It's I
we
think for
tried
like
early
our
on
specials are gonna
in
stay the same.
APOC
I
to
think
touch
so,
the
too.
clouds a
I
little
think
bit,
so.
and we just found that
Kenny wants to play
it was very
Minecraft at
costly
5
to
o'clock.
create these
Why? This time?
very
Your time.
volumetric,
Okay.
flying
Six.
through the clouds per se. So we couldn't get away with some of the, you know, more gimmicky kind of presentations where you don't have to fly through the clouds per se. But here I really like the look of these clouds. They kind of they set a good mood. I
This
think,
kid ate drink like half
especially
a 2 liter
that
of
sunset
brisk.
kind of perspective.
It's beautiful.
So a leader.
It's
gonna die.
All right, and with that, we are going to swap over to our character art.
Oh, I would like to clear something up. That the Varan planet is not flat. So you may not see a curvature on the horizon in this, but from a lore perspective, the universe in Vera does adhere to some basic physics and laws of physics that we experience in the real world, which means it is not
You know,
flat. I'm
there's
so
going to
sorry.
be a group of people who are going to name their guild.
I know,
Flat
the
Earth
Varan Flat
Varan.
Earth Society. Absolutely. No, I anticipate
I'm
that.
here for it. Do it, our peers. I know you're going to do it. I'm into it. Toast will make sure that they let us know. I love it. Oh, one of the other things that people were asking is...
I just want a good night cycle, like where it's dark and like the moon and it has different levels of darkness depending on the moon's fullness.
Like a lot of the things that you guys ask, because you ask a lot of similar questions.
If there is a moon, even.
Here, you've seen the bog brute. It's cool for me because I like design these creatures and then I get to see them and they look so cool. Here's the bog brute in.
Okay.
Of him. Look
Oof,
how magical.
I'm tired today. I stayed up till 3 a.m. playing Stellaris on the
I
PC.
always think about this creature when I was designing
Bad
it. I was
decision.
thinking about like a creature
Bad decision.
that is under the water, or like lives under the water and like walks under, and like all you see is like the top part with like little bits of like seaweed almost and little mushrooms,
Little
and then
bits
you're
of
standing on it and it just
seaweed.
stands up and you're like, oh, standing on top of this giant thing.
If it worked like that, that'd be cool.
It's just gonna be a
If
little.
it waited till you like walked on top of it, almost like
Yeah,
a
we did
You'll
talk
see the
about
full
that.
size.
like a
one.
trap where it comes and grabs
Yeah,
you.
you'll see
full-size one.
full-size examples
They'll
of this
look
kind of.
different than this because there'll be a different variant of
Right.
him. But yeah, he's pretty beefy boy. I love it.
Beefy boy. She likes her
and then, of
beefy
course, we
boys.
have
What is that?
this little guy here, which is our noble.
All right, I got to use something new that I haven't touched yet.
Sides of Warhorn.
Oh
I love
no,
his
they're moving
face.
it.
Like, look at that. The detail.
Go back to the
Oh,
rear.
Wrinkly boy.
Who's working on this? Is this Danny?
I
Look at that.
think
Look at that
so.
sticking
It's one of
out.
the newer folks.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. I like the detail on the model.
The T-pose makes the
Right
dragon
there.
really funny. And then
What is that sticking out?
forest dragon.
Oh, that looks cool.
And I think you've seen this dragon in a more like fiery look, like almost like a lava dragon vibe.
Okay.
Now you're seeing it in its forest.
Yeah, so this.
I like how everything's got
the
themes.
lava
I really
one,
do.
That was a different dragon model.
Yeah.
So this is more of an elder dragon look. That other
I don't know the
dragon had
difference,
some
but okay.
different types of influences. It had more of a kind of a bat
Yeah, like that
kind of
wingy-
look to it.
yeah.
It had that kind of thin wings, and it also had it where the wings were really used in kind of movement and walking. This, however, is a far more traditional elder dragon look. This is a particularly within a biome of a forest and or jungle type location. I don't know if you have any of the movement slides for him
No,
either.
that's all
Okay,
I
that's
have.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, but he's much
Animation
more
didn't send me
weighted.
anything.
His animations are much more weighted. He's heavier. He's slower. He's a very big boy.
Chris Myers is a perfectionist. I don't think he was ready to share those yet with me. But yeah, this is pretty sick. And then
It looks good. I don't know why anyone wouldn't be happy about it.
some armor. So first, we're going to be looking at some Kalar cloth, and I think we've shown some
Okay. This looks like a grunt.
versions of these in the
Right.
past, like work in progress, as well as
Like just a grunt guardsman here.
concept art. But now you're seeing them actually here. So there's cloth,
think-
and then we have leather.
Now these are, I believe, these are level 10 or 20. I don't know. Jeff, do you know?
This is
I think they're 5 to 15.
5 to 15. Okay. So
That-
these
that
these
sounds
are
more
not
right.
part of any cosmetic set. So these are, I think, in-game achievable kind of armor pieces that players can get.
Yeah, they look like the
Um,
low tier, like,
And this is the more
here's some
traditional
stuff, you
kind
know.
of Kalar influence.
And then we have the Imperial. I'll switch over to this.
Oh yeah, this is like, that's like low level, like grunt guys wearing this stuff.
And then
Sorry,
we have
it's getting warm in here. I gotta turn my fan on. Otherwise, I'm gonna cook.
the armor upgrade there.
Doors closed, PC's big and
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. These look great. Yeah, the Empyrean influences here, and then you did see on the previous one the kind of cape overflow. We did recently, I think Brian Gans also was working on the capes a little bit, and got them back up to speed from where they were in APOC.
Up to
but for the
speed.
MMO.
Perfect.
Something wrong with them before? I don't know.
From there, we've got the turnabout for the Empyrean.
It looks okay, you know, when your first day out on the job and
And
here's your
also
first set of armor.
I love how you can like almost see your reflection in other people's armor. So cool.
Now this is level
That is
20,
nice.
I believe. Is that
Yeah.
This is the tier 2
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and then we have some more Empyrean.
That's gotta be level 1. No, that's level 1.
one.
Level 2.
I think this one's still a work in progress, so
Yeah.
be aware of that.
But you can see kind of the individual pieces here between the chest plate, the wrists, you know, the pauldrons that you have, the belt. You know, these are all obviously created in such a way that players can mix and match as they achieve different armor pieces within the game, and really diversify, I think, the customization options that players have when kind of determining their outfits.
just
Obviously,
wanna-
there are set bonuses.
I'm just
and
gonna use the
set bonuses
monthly
scale
cosmetic
with
suits.
each piece kind of that you add to the set itself. So you can mix and match and get some, you know, minor set benefits based on the complement of that particular set you're wearing. So you could potentially see like, you know, 3 or 4 set minor bonuses, or you could go full throttle with, you know, one set and its maximum bonus benefits.
And there will be
Okay.
a system like a transmog, like we have talked about. I mean, people keep asking, like you will be able to add a cosmetic onto certain pieces. So if an item has a cosmetic slot, you'll be able to put a cosmetic on there. So if you want to make your armor look like a different piece of armor, you can kind of do that to some extent. It depends on what it is.
Yeah, like there's you
It
can
seems like they're going to be
you can
picky
take
with
individual
this
pieces, and some of them will
cosmetics.
have the ability to transpose the visual appearance of that piece with another piece, or you'll have an overarching uh, visual change, which is a one-piece costume that is potentially you can achieve and or purchase, and that will override the visual appearance of all set pieces.
That's probably what I'm going to end up
This
doing.
last one, I don't know if I have to. I want to make sure I get.
I like
Steven's
making my
approval
own
on it,
sets
is
in games,
the
though, but this
staff
sounds like it's going to be
design,
hard.
If you're okay with me sharing that, we have teased
wow.
a lot of ancient stuff. If you tune into our live stream, there were some goals that were achieved, and you guys knocked it out of the water. We reached all of them, and so Steven showed a little bit of the art of the ancients and talked a bit about it, which is
He drew on a piece of paper and hold it up.
if you want to check that out and
I didn't watch the live
So
stream
this
at
is
all,
just
obviously.
one weapon,
This
by
is
the
just
way.
one
This is
weapon.
not staff. It's not the
Can I-
staff of the ancients per
Okay.
se. It's a
Can I show
staff.
it?
Yeah, you can show it.
Okay, right.
Oh, that's cool. How do I get this?
Yeah, so what you kind of see in the staff design. Obviously, there's an emissive component that reflects
What
kind
is
of
that
that
on the
corrupt
top?
nature of the ancients. But you'll see that it actually lines, through the curvatures of the staff as well.
That's
And,
really nice.
I had spoken in the past about how souls act as conduits for essence, essentially, which is the energy that's used to manipulate magic, either for good or for evil. But some of the as those conduits can be restructured in a sense, they can be molded, shaped, and changed to have
Okay.
focuses on particular types of magic. And here in the curvature and design of this staff, you'll see that it has a very specific and unique looking type of mold, so to speak. So there could be some relationship between these designs of the staffs and or weapons that you'll see, which are used to harness
this a
or focus
necromancer?
the use of the essence or magic, and how perhaps
To me, it looks like there's a brain on the top.
those
And it's like the
structures relate to
medical
types of magic
snake
that
going
these
up the
creatures
staff. I don't know the terminology for it.
And with that, we
And it goes to
are
brains.
onto our
Zombie
quiz.
brains.
So, our first question is going to be from Neurotoxin and Katak. We had two people who asked this, which is about overgearing. Based on the recent dev discussions regarding overgearing, what are the team's current thoughts on gear use?
Well, while they talk about overgearing really quick, I have a giveaway going on. $25 Amazon gift card.
I think we're
Head over to my website. It's in the
relatively
description. If you're on YouTube, the panel's on Twitch, or I don't know where on Facebook, somewhere on the side. Squeetee.com. So my username.com. $25 Amazon gift card. Rules are right there. Take a look.
Equip gear of a higher level. I don't know, Jeff, you want to expand on that at all?
No, I mean that's the plan currently. There's a lot of discussions we've had back and forth in terms of how we want to manage player power, and so that's sort of where we've landed right now. It's a easy way to throttle and set expectations for what a given character's power level can be at a given level. Obviously, I think all of us love overgearing. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of games that have done it really well.
I love it.
With the number of levers that we already have on this game, we kind of wanted to make it easier on ourselves in order to help create like power level expectations for a given character, and sort of have right now. Now that doesn't mean that won't change later on down the road, but that's kind of where the team is at.
And our next question is from Saksky and Logan from the forums as well, and this is about cosmetics. Could you please elaborate on the philosophy behind why a cosmetic skin can only be applied to one character at a time?
Yeah, absolutely. So cosmetics, when we're talking about purchasable cosmetics, really the idea there is the meaning of those cosmetics in some way is augmented by its exclusivity. And that exclusivity translates not only in sometimes a limited quantity and or limited time frame, but also in limited application as well. We want to make sure that when meaning there's no box price to play Ashes of Creation. It is only a subscription. That's beneficial because it reduces the barrier of entry, and we want a high population, obviously. But at the same time, one of the ways we augment the revenue flow to sustain constant updates and new chapter releases and additional content within the game is through a cosmetic only marketplace. That means absolutely no pay to win whatsoever, and that will be adhered to.
I don't know how they're going to add
but
content to this game with the way how open it is.
Limited options that
unless they just lock off zones and then save them for future, like
cosmetics.
So when a cave opens under a mountain
I think
for a new dungeon, that's my only guess.
Make that decision to either purchase or they go through the rigorous portion of achieving those things in game.
It's going to be rough with the way that
it is not
players control stuff
around them and becomes
because
at that point.
Having somebody come from the East Continent to the West Continent for new content, they can just get steamrolled. They'll never experience it.
Before you can put these cosmetics on it. So, like, you can't just put this cool-looking armor on, like, a level 1 armor. Like, you'll have to attain the same level armor. And we'll have more details about, like, what those are.
Please, I want more details.
So the costumes, actually, just to be clear, the costumes don't really have a level restriction on them. You could apply them to lower level armor. Transmogs, there will be specific rules when it comes to taking different armor pieces and applying those visuals to certain armors.
Okay.
And the same is true for, let's say, mount skins. Mount skins do require, yes, there to be a specific type of mount achieved. But yeah, I hope that gives a little bit of explanation.
Cool. Did you have anything to add to that, Jeff? You had like a thinky face for a moment.
Nope. I was thinking, and then Steven answered what I was going to say. So.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I might have given a little bit of not context there with my answer. Jalan wants to know.
And actually,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just add that to one last thing.
Sorry, Jalan.
Sorry. Is it true that as a company we could make more money if we did not have limited time cosmetics, and those cosmetics could be purchased at any point going forward? Absolutely. From a pure business standpoint, we could. But I'm a collector at heart, and in games I've played in the past, I have been
just looking at your creepy dolls behind you.
Oh, what?
Your collection of creepy dolls.
Yeah, exactly. Those are John's collection. Sorry. I have been duped in the past. Right. I've told this story in the past. There was this one game I played, and there was this bear skin, and I really wanted the bear mount to, because I had like 2 or 3 other types of bears.
Good story.
And this was I'd never seen this bear before, and I was like, ooh, I want that bear. And they only gave it through boxes. You had to buy a bunch of boxes, and they were like, I don't know, like $10 a box or something. And I think I had spent like $400 and I didn't get the frickin' bear, and I was super.
Ooh, I've been there.
Money on it. And they released the bear again, like 2 months later on the marketplace. You could just buy the bear directly for like $20. I was so
Swotar,
mad.
I think, does that stuff.
So angry. I don't know if I quit at that point. No, I quit when they introduced something else. Sorry, but I was so pissed. So one thing
He really wanted that bear, guys.
We could make more
he really wanted
as a
it.
company from a business decision standpoint if we
I
continue
can't
to
say
sell
much. I've spent too
cosmetics
much money
that we
on games
create
too.
later on and stuff, but we're not going to do that. And because the reason we're not going to do that is because from a collector's spirit, you want exclusivity and limited aspects of these things, because it's cool to know that there's a downside to it too, because if you didn't find out about the game until months later, yeah, you're SOL. But at the same time, like, you want that type of integrity in the company that's providing this game, because you know that when future stuff comes out, you will be safeguarded from what I had to go through in another game.
It's the same thing with sales and knowing like when to put them
Yeah,
up.
really.
If you sell something full price the first week and then like you're like on sale the next week, the people who bought it the week before are going to be upset, right? Like,
They're going to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies that will be really cheesy, and it feels gross as a player.
I will say, however, that experience I had with the cosmetic thing, that wasn't the worst experience of the company. The worst experience I had was when
Steven's just dishing it.
He's just beating up on.
I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not even gonna get into it.
You can if you want.
Now, what was Jalan's question?
All right, Jalan. The question is loot rules. Can you share more details on loot rules, such as why there is no free-for-all looting and how need before greed will work if any class can use any weapon and armor?
There will be free for all.
Yeah.
By free for all, you mean essentially on pickup, whoever picks it up.
Yeah, why not?
That's an option.
Let's say like the loot rules. If you're talking about previous alphas that you may have played, yeah, we didn't have those set up, but they are.
That mask right there. I like that mask.
If not this one, then the
I
next
don't think
one.
it's it's definitely not December. I think
I know
actually.
Engineer has been working on them, but I don't think they're ready. For
I think I
but-
deprioritize that for December. I think
I
that's
see.
going to be either February or March. Yes, but the idea behind loot mechanics is to have as wide a range as you've probably ever experienced in MMOs previously. So we're either going to be at that level or wider. But the idea is for there to be a lot of administrative function that's delegated to either the party leader or by, I think there's even going to be a by vote option or the raid leader, and you can determine those looting rules.
They really want to know, Steven. They really
What?
want to know what your
Oh
worst
my gosh,
experience
I think I've
was.
told this in the story in the past.
Have they made a combat
I'll
about
do it real quick.
PvP
There
and
was a
PvE? Are they
shop
gonna do separate?
game that I played.
It's
and
from what
there
I've heard,
was a
it's the same
particular
set after.
resource that was in the game that players had to
You to get the best gear in the game, you have to do a combination of crafting, raids, and other stuff to make it like a. So it's a communal thing. So it's not like you go just do PvP for PvP. You need to do a little of everything to get it, and you need to have top tier crafters make top tier certain items, and you have to loot those items from bosses and dungeons and stuff like that, or like rare ores you got to go out and hunt down and harvest. So it's not going to be separate, and I don't think there's going to be a separate stat either.
And the company, I guess, needed money or wanted money or whatever, and they decided to introduce a particular type of tree through the cash shop that had like a 60%. Yeah, they had like a 6 to this particular resource, and it's just, I'm sure it made a lot of money for them.
I know what this is.
Completely
I'm pretty sure.
destabilized the economy, and whenever you destabilize an economy, you lose your player base, and when you lose your player base, it's just a compounded issue because it's a highly guild-driven game. When friends leave the game, other friends lose interest in playing the game, and it's just a cascading effect of failure.
It just falls apart.
That can occur. Now the game was already super, pay to win, whatever. You kind of had to win in order to become relevant in the game, but it was just the final straw, I think, in the back of letting players progress for a year or 2 years in a particular economic point of the game, and then introducing something to the cash shop that was instrumental within the game, and it was just such a terrible decision. I don't know. Anyways.
And
made money off of it.
As developers, being able to drive our own product, we don't want players to experience that. So we have vowed that we won't have play to win or pay to win. You have to play to win.
Correct. You have to
You have to play.
Yeah.
Play to
win. Just a little heart to heart there. Our next question here is from Mixshave and Dark Furia, who wants to know and this is about gear stats. Will certain combat stats be tied to specific gear? Example, agility only on leather, or will all gear have a chance to have all stats?
That's a good question.
I think all gear will have an opportunity to have all stats and or certain types of influences. Sorry,
Crafters will be able to rejigger stat blocks, and there'll be a couple of other ways to kind of
Rejigger,
move things around to kind of create both the look and the stat block that you're looking for. It's not always going to be easy. There'll be a lot of
So
challenges.
are you saying we can get a
but yeah,
heaviest armor in the game
give you guys
on
the
a
option to customize
stealth
your gear the way you
rogue
want them to.
Right.
with
And
ranged
remember,
precision
the whole
stats
reasoning
for
behind that
archery?
is because from a player agency and customization standpoint, you're not particularly restricted to any type of gear for your archetype choice or your class
I like
choice
that.
through the secondary choices you make. And
I can see myself making a heavy
purpose
set
of
for
the
my
class system is
healer.
to allow you to kind of flirt
Being
with
like a
those traditional
Tank
roles.
healer.
And as such, you are going to have an opportunity based on the circumstances of the encounter you're facing to want to have.
We can swap gear during battle. You know, you go in, start a fight out in your light gear, just destroy someone with damage, like quick movements,
decision is placed in the
and
crafter's
then
hands,
hop
and then
quick bar
there's
right
very
into
limited
heavy armor and
restrictions
take a
on
beating
those
back.
types of set bonuses and
Oh man, that's a good plan. I like that. I used to do that in
And
another
the next
game.
question is from Gunman Dude 2. I like that name. Node relations.
Send notes.
This is about node relations. Oh my goodness. What are some of the ways that players of different nodes can wage indirect war against each other?
Economic.
Based on their node type. Example, military node sending raid parties, and an economic node disrupting trade. The chat is killing me right now.
I missed the first part of that question.
The first part of the question was, what are some of the ways that players of different nodes can wage indirect war against each other?
I see. I mean, I think we are a non-faction based, open world flagging based system type.
Greatest thing I've ever heard.
With caravans to interrupt trade in and out of a city. There's opportunities for citizens to kind of come together and stop certain achievements, like downing of a raid boss, trying to interrupt citizens of a separate node.
That's going to be my part-time job, just ruining people's
I think
raids.
There's a lot of ways.
Walk in right after them, and then jump in and take their tank out and watch the entire raid wipe.
Influence change without the hard necessity of a declaration.
That made me so happy.
The declaration
Just
of war
ruin
is
someone's
obviously
day
a
like
natural
that.
progression of those efforts, and it's likely that if your intent is to, restrict progression for a group of people, whether that be guild dependent, node dependent, race dependent, whatever, there's opportunities for you to start at a point and escalate. It doesn't always have to start at war. And I think players will have a fun time exploring what those mechanics are.
And Tyrenter wants to know, and this is about flagging, will players have the option to manually flag themselves as combatant status without attacking or AoEing anyone first, should they choose?
No. So the flagging system
what?
is no. So you can. I'm sorry. Let me clarify. There's
Just
two
like
components
what?
to the. I know. I think
Just like you can flag.
you can create a way where you allow yourself to attack an opponent, but the actual purple flag doesn't occur until you strike an opponent. We have a way that we toggle PvP through GM command in the current server environment, where we can turn everyone purple. But technically, the flagging component is you're allowing your character to strike another character. Otherwise, like if I targeted you.
I just checked my on-call schedule. I'm off for the Alpha 1 test
I couldn't attack
December.
Right, but I have to press Control F, or I have to
Thank God.
hold Control or Alt when I attack, and then that will allow me to attack you, and that turns me purple when I do attack you. Right?
I thought that you could flag yourself and set yourself as being a combatant
Control
and just
F.
live there, right? Like I thought
Right.
that was
No,
what-
so okay, got it. Yeah. So this is my inspiration for the flagging system is kind of comes a lot from what my experience in Lineage 2. And the idea here is that you must attack the opponent in order to flag.
So everybody is a non-combatant by default.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea there is
Right, is there management fighting on the stream right now?
There's a benefit and a downside to flagging first. The benefit of flagging first is that you have landed a
He's got,
strike
like,
on an opponent.
Laser eyes.
In some way, shape, or form, that strike is going
Shooting
to
at him right
likely,
now.
damage them to a degree. But the downside is that anybody else around you now is carte blanche on destroying you without any penalties, right? So you're opening yourself up to attack per se. The other downside of that is you are not, unless you're in a party or a raid with the opponent you're attacking, in which case you then couldn't attack them, but you will not see their hit point value. So there's a little bit of a risk if you're, attacking an individual that you could kill them with the attack as well. And if you did kill them with the attack and they were a non-combatant, you would gain corruption. And nobody wants to gain corruption because corruption is a severely debilitating status for a player. So yeah.
Okay, and then Sarah was saying, our Lieutenant Toast, our community manager, was saying that some people were asking for a follow-up on the need before greed part of looting and how it will work in regards to if all weapons and armor are able to be used by all classes. How does the need before greed system work, since anyone
Just click a button.
So if people are claiming need and they don't actually need it, it's going to be up to the party to kind of adjudicate that situation and be like, hey, stop rolling on this item as
Stop
a
rolling
need.
on everything.
Yeah, stop rolling on everything. And if you don't, you can find a group elsewhere, or we're not going to invite you to future parties. There's obviously downsides and upsides to any type of loot protocol that the party's going to choose, and it's just going to be on the party to kind of to go through that.
Yeah, we're not saying any given piece of gear belongs to any given class, right?
Okay.
Gear will make sense more with certain builds of the class, as opposed to, all rangers get dex gear, right? There will be other situations where that ranger might want different types of gear. They might want strength. They might want wisdom. There's a whole lot of stuff that might work for their particular build.
Oh,
So
there's 3 stats.
Right. And I just want to go back for 1 second to the flagging discussion. I noticed a lot of people in here saying Lineage 2 had the best flagging system. I agree, actually. For a non-faction based game, I do believe Lineage 2 had the best flagging system of any MMORPG I've ever
He
played.
loves Lineage.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were some downsides, and I believe I've addressed those downsides in our flagging system when it comes to not allowing for PK alts or griefers in the kind of way that we saw them in Lineage 2 at least. But I believe
Alright,
that
we'll
the
see
system,
about that.
PvP is intended to exist within formal systems. That be the caravan system, the castle siege, the node siege, the guild wars, the node wars. Those systems don't use the flagging system. They all use instead an organized event system, which turns you into an attacker or a defender, and you have other attackers and defenders, and you do not receive the same type of death penalties that you would normally receive through the flagging system. The flagging system is intended to provide a way by which players can exercise their agency in the open world outside of those events in a non-normal environment. So, I have beef with this person. We're not in a guild, or we don't have a guild war, but they're mining some unique ore, and I'm going to take advantage of the situation. I'll take the risk. I'll get the corruption. Whatever. My emotional investment level is so high that I don't care about the problem side of that thing. But generally,
Do you?
corruption is a deterrent to griefing. Corruption will be a deterrent to people PKing because they're not going to want to take those added death penalties. They're not going to want to
Well, what are the penalties?
take a risk of losing completed gear and items.
Okay, that's why.
The idea is to present risk versus reward in the open world, and that's what this type of system provides.
Right. We have about 4 more questions to go through here before we wrap things up. I know it's been a long Q&A, but we have,
It
we're
has.
trying to make sure that we're thorough with these. Our next question is from Drexus, who wants to know about music. Do you plan to support the ability for players to make custom music in-game, like the music macro language?
Oh,
we have talked about it,
Yeah, we have talked about it.
but scope-wise, I don't know if that's in the
I
cards
know.
for.
Maybe an expansion for Bard later.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's I think we could do some really fun things with it, but it's a lot of engineering time and design work to get a system like that feeling really good.
Right.
I don't blame him.
And our next question is,
You don't want to put out all crappy and
about
choppy.
raids, and they want to know, with open world raids, how do you plan to prevent groups of larger than 40 players from trivializing the difficulty?
So there's going to be
I
opportunities.
don't know, Andrew. I don't know what
obviously, where a
what
larger
prevents
portion of
people from
players
griefing
come
like that.
together
I really don't.
and try to complete
Unless you
content.
just can't move gear
Now,
between
in the
accounts.
creation of these
Is my
encounters,
guess. It's all
there are
bio-linked or something.
bosses there's going to be a large amount of environmental hazards, AoE effects, and the more players that are present, there's an opportunity there where the amount of damage taken significantly goes up, and becomes what you'd think would be easier to accomplish with a large amount of players might be harder, might be more difficult to manage that number of damage being taken
So
by a
was it just
significant
all
portion of
AoE
people.
attacks to
But
level it out?
ultimately, that's one of the downsides of an open world MMORPG is there is opportunities for large amounts of players to come together outside of what the typical encounter expectation is. There's some scalability that can be had in that respect. You can activate based off of the number of player characters within the boss room or something. You can activate additional environmental hazards, additional AoE usages. You can incorporate that into the behavior tree of the monster. All of those types of things. We're not really decided per se on what route we're going to take, at least on the scalability side. I know we had a question that was posed to the community, I don't know, a few months ago on scalability in that regard. But it's something that we're going to test in alphas and betas. When we want to confine an encounter to a particular number of players, that's when it goes instanced for the most part. And that's where,
Sounds
whether
fair.
that be an overarching encounter of the primary narrative, or we want to contain because the loot drops are special in some regard, that's when we'll likely use that 80-20 rule on instancing versus non-instancing, and we can control the player count. But generally, I would say, where I lean in, and Jeff, I don't know, you can probably jump in here as well, but where I lean in is that I'm okay increasing the environmental hazards and the use of AoE effects when we have a player count that exceeds what the intended encounter design is for. And I think that's a safe way of scaling up without making it feel like you're not immersed in this world and the AI is responding to you. You know
Sounds
what I mean?
right.
I don't like that artificial feeling of like, hey, I never progress because I'm always facing the same difficulty level versus a monster. I hate that type of scalability personally. I think that's not fun, and I don't like it in games. But if it were like, oh, this monster is like freaked out because there's a rate of 40 people, and now the monster's like super freaked out because there's 120 people, and it's like using AoEs all over the place, like I'm okay with that. Jeff,
Makes sense.
No, I totally agree. Like that's basically how we're approaching these kind of big group open world kind of bosses is, abilities and behaviors that not punish, I don't want to say punish, but that respond or make more difficult the more number.
So basically, the open world raid bosses have like a
There's a lot
soft
of
cap
different things
on
that
how
you
many
can
players
do
you can
where,
bring in.
40 people, it's of a certain
I would kinda
difficulty,
say-
and 60 people, it's more difficult. And you can do that without relying on stat buffs or HP buffs or things of that nature. You just make it more difficult to have that many people, and you can do that with the environment. You can do that with abilities. You can
Fair.
do that with behaviors. So there's a lot of things that you can do on that side of things to increase the difficulty without just making it a damage sponge. And that's more interesting gameplay too. Like that's a thing that we want people to be thinking about when they're fighting these open world creatures are going to be big. They're going to be terrifying, and they're gonna hopefully require a lot of skill to take down. And so part of that calculus is going to be how many people do we bring to this fight.
Too many.
And I think there were some questions in follow-up to that in regards to the solo player. And
Well, he's not
obviously,
taking on a
those
raid
players
boss
who
by
are trying to
himself.
play, do you think there's
Why
going
is
to
this a
be
question?
things for them to do, or because I think there's concern that they might get overrun by like groups or large raids and things of that sort.
solo
How you guys
players?
are handling that? Yeah.
No, I think from a content path standpoint, there is content that's being developed for both group play and raid play and also solo play. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to recognize that we're building an MMO RPG, which is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. There are plenty of great single-player RPGs out there, and I don't want to discourage more solo-oriented players from playing Ashes of Creation. I think they're going to have a great time. And there'll be a lot of content for them to kind of explore single-handedly. But at some point, you have to understand the game is designed around massive amounts of players, which means that you're going to have to interact either on an economic level with kind of procuring assets for your profession and or crafting if you're interested in that. You're going to have to purchase things from players and get housing and craft in that way. There's going to be group monsters that you're going to want to complete based off of like quest lines. There's going to be raids that you'll probably want to participate in. And because we're a non-faction based game, we're incorporating many what we call pseudo factions that get you involved in some way, shape, or form with a community. It doesn't have to be a community that you're super strongly bonded with per se, and we can leave that kind of to the player agency to determine.
Okay.
But you're going to have a node citizen chat. You're going to have a organization, scholars
my chair's about to fall back.
Depending on when you choose, you're going to have a religion temple chat. These are like micro communities within the grand community that exist that give you an opportunity to form friendships.
Are these going to be world chats? Like,
and you can
for
work with those people to complete
the
some of the group
temple?
or non-solo content.
Should be local.
But in the same way that we're providing solo content for solo players,
my opinion.
we are an MMORPG, and there's going to need to be some interaction with a community in order to achieve some of the content. And that we're being open and upfront about that. We are not trying to make a game for everyone. In my opinion, when games do that, they fail. So what we want to do is we want to have a very clear
Star Wars Galaxies right there.
What we're trying to create. We are laying out our goals and design, mentality here openly for the players, and we accept that that's not going to be a game that everyone wants, and that's okay.
And I love the idea that some of these communities are going to be built almost around necessity, right? Like there might be something going on with your religion and now you have to band together to be able to complete something. And I think that that's really quite amazing.
That's a nice aspect too.
Not everybody agrees, and so you have like this resource that's going back and forth until the last moment, and then that's turns the tide of what happens in the end. I think it's really
nifty.
A lot on your shoulders to make what happens in the world, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think part of it is like, the way what Steven was talking about is like the idea of like soft guilds where you haven't like explicitly joined up, you're not, it's not organized by players, but it's like, hey, I care about my node. These people are also part of my node. There's a thing happening to that
even if
node.
You don't care about the people in the node. You just care about your house.
Right, exactly. So
that's true. Who cares about the
game? Even
everybody
if
else?
You're a solo player, to help protect the node and help keep the node healthy. And that's the same for organizations and religions. And there's a lot of stuff that interacts that same way. So we try to make it as easy as possible to join the community and to keep as much friction away from that, so that you just kind of naturally become a part of the community, whether you kind of
chilly.
or not.
Right, and speaking of friction, real quick, part of what unites people is a common enemy, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. That enemy can be event-driven and NPC-based, right?
I can't wait for these
that enemy can be event-driven
events.
or NPC-based, like
man. I just want to be an NPC and beat up on
cities,
a node of an enemy.
And, whatever, and you unite with people, and through that uniting, you can form bonds and friendship, right? Or it can be a hostile player. So, yeah.
You get
Sorry.
like a nemesis.
Friction is also soft friction is also a necessity in a non-faction based game, and that soft friction helps to create essentially sides. And I don't like two-sided servers personally. It feels like every time I've ever played an MMO, it usually, especially if it has PvP in it, servers devolve into two-sided nature. But hopefully the way that we limit citizenship to nodes to a degree, right, and how those nodes are in competition with one another and benefit the players to a degree, that will help to further promote many sides. And many sides, I think, is a much more fun and dynamic type of thing.
Yeah. And our next question, we'll get to it, is from Skirns, and they want to know about pet gear. Will summoners summons also have gear available, or only combat pets?
Only combat.
Hey, Eggs, how's it going over on Twitch? How you doing?
Pets, so to speak. Or actually, I would call them summons if we get the nomenclature down correctly. Summons I would refer to as summoner pets, so to speak. I would call them pets, and I'd refer to pets as something that is a inventory item that you can, well, not even cosmetic, but an inventory item that you can that you can bring with you, and you're not a summoner. No, armor and weapons, equipables, those are not on summons. Those are not on summoners. So those are only for battle pets.
And our final question here is from
And
Emberstone.
mounts.
Final question.
Question
Oof,
here is from
it's been a long one.
about mules. Will my party members be able to deposit items directly into my mule's bag?
Yeah, Ace, you're coming at the end of the stream here.
That's
You have
a
a
good
ton of
question.
stuff. A
That's
good
question.
amount.
I do not know the answer to that yet. I'd have to. I don't know if that's the case. I think probably not. I think the way we would want to do that is we would have a player-to-player trade available, and then from there, the owning the owning player can deposit on their pet.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll see if that changes 15 times until launch.
We have our we made it. A little over an hour, but we hope that
Over an hour. It's almost 2 hours I've been on.
yeah, probably. We hope that you enjoyed our development update. We have a lot that we're still doing. We have a lot of work to do. All of us do today. So
Yeah, I think for sure it'll top Guild Wars. I don't think Guild Wars is
for December.
got much going on anymore.
Please
I don't play it, so I don't know for sure. But WoW,
love that.
I think WoW's fallen. It's got those diehard people that have been playing a long time. I really think this game will pull a lot of them away, and it'll give them something fresh. And it'll bring a lot of old gamers back from the classic open world sandbox MMO.
So,
Like Star Wars Galaxy's MMO. I'm trying to think of Lotro was, well, that was theme
and
park.
also, our November cosmetic swap over is happening.
Lineage
December
2
2nd,
people,
11
things like that.
PST, definitely. Go snag up the ones that are there now if you want them, and we gave you a little.
Yeah, I gotta go buy those.
So we hope that you all enjoyed them. Again, thank you to Stephen and Jeff for taking time out of your day. I know you're both very, very, very busy, and I appreciate
Cosmetics.
you joining me. And of course, follow us on all of the social channels right here on Twitch. If you follow us, you won't miss out on any of our streams. We do those monthly, and as we ramp up, we're gonna.
Hey, Eggs, thanks for following. I appreciate it.
We'll have this video up on our YouTube channel. You can check that out at youtube.com/ashesofcreation, and we'll let you know whenever that's live on all of our social channels. So follow us there as well: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't know, everything. We're Ashes of Creation all over the place. We try to keep you guys updated. Now there's this thing called fleeting. I don't know.
Fleeting?
Just keep
Oh.
adding more things at us, and so we just keep trying to.
Speak true words. Hey, I try. Thanks.
Once again, thank you for joining us. We will see you next month for our December update. I think it's going to be on another weird day, so
Probably.
sorry, the holidays are strange. But we hope that you are having a wonderful November, and we'll see you in December.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
That's cool.
Bye.
All right, y'all are clear.
All right, that was good.
Are they clear though? I kind of want to leave. See if they do
All right,
something stupid.
GG. I'll see you guys later.
Ended it with GG. Oh, that was good. Okay, before no, you're good, Eggs. Don't worry about it. Before everybody goes, I'm just gonna throw this up for everybody to see, just as a reminder. If I can get this stupid thing to go into, boom, there. Okay. This is the current Ashes creation. Whatchamacallit? The cosmetics for the month. Pretty cool ones. They go away. What is it? December 2nd, I think they said, or 4th, something like that. So in a couple of days, they're going away. So you guys might want to jump on getting this. Or any of these items. Like the dragon skin looks pretty cool. I mean, all of these look pretty cool. I bought a lot of stuff already, so I'm not too sure if I would buy anything else. But I do have a count without any mounts, so maybe I'll buy this dragon for it. So just giving you guys a heads up. And then the last thing is, see if I move this over. Boom! That worked perfect. Just for anybody that has all Bravers and up. And any like intrepid, what do you call it here? Pack holders here. Alpha 1 preview is the first pretest here is starting December 18th to the 21st. So if you have that pack, you should be getting an email and you should be jumping in. These dates seem to be pretty solid for the rest of the Alpha pre-test and Alpha 1 itself. But you never know what happens. So hopefully you guys all got a package in Alpha Bravers or above, and you can join in the Alpha. I think you can still purchase an upgrade. I'm not too sure. You may want to go look online if you really want to play that bad, because it's coming up pretty quick, like 3 weeks or so. No, eggs. This is for the Alpha, so this is all testing phases. What they've got going on here. So that's about it. Just yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, it's just the testing phases right now. I don't think this game's going to come out till probably, sadly, 2022 at this point officially. With all the alphas and betas. There's 2 alphas, 2 betas to do. Unless they cram them all in, they might get them done by next December and have official launch like right before Christmas. But I don't know about that. We'll see about that. So anyways, guys, I've been sitting here for just about 2 hours doing this stream. Thank you to everybody that stopped in and watched. I truly appreciate it. I've got things I gotta do. Before I go, I have a giveaway going on, $25 Amazon gift card. It is, if you're on YouTube, it's in the description below. If you're on Twitch, it's in the panel below. And if you're on Facebook, it's on one of the sides. It's the link to the website. It's my squeetee.com. Homepage has it. Just do any of the steps and you get some, like, how do I say this? It gives you some tickets to play in the winning giveaway. So I will be figuring out who wins on Christmas Day. I'll be sending you an email through the website I'm using for the giveaway, and I'll get you your code for the Amazon gift card. So you don't have to do anything but like subscribe to YouTube and follow on Twitch, stuff like that. If you've already done that stuff, you're already, you're ahead of the game. So that's it. Thanks guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. Everybody that came in and chit-chatted. And hopefully I might be streaming later tonight. No idea what I'll be streaming, but we'll see. And that's about it. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Transition. Whoop. That's the right transition. I was good. Sorry, Eggs. I know you came on. I appreciate you jumping on. Thought I'd come back and say I appreciate it. And following, I do appreciate it. But I do have to go. So I'll catch y'all guys later.